Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom is back and welcome back to another episode of Top Drives and another episode of Garage Review. As you can see in the title in the top left corner, it titles My Garage of 7/11 2023. And indeed we are going to be showcasing and reviewing at the same time. It's going to be a hybrid of a showcase and a review of Brazen's Garage. Now I think you have first heard his voice in yesterday's upload, which was an amazing, incredibly, literally epic pack opening. And we're going to be reviewing his garage today. Now, this is a very, very special garage. It literally is the polar opposite of mine. I would say that Brazen as a player is the polar opposite of me, which there is nothing wrong with. Let me tell you the statistics, but I think you know what is to come. So, this garage is about 3.5 years old, and his favorite prize car is a Di Tommaso P72. The brands that he likes to focus on, get this, Morgan, Peugeot, Lancia, Lotus, Di Tommaso. I mean, I love Lotus, I love Lancia. He's got a Lancia as a profile photo as well. Countries, France, and the tags that he loves the most are Amalfi Coast Cruising and Driver's Choice. Now that is a pretty rare one because I don't think we've heard the tag Driver's Choice in a very, very long time. I don't remember the last time it was used in an event. Things like Driver's Choice and Wild Ride, but it's nice to see them every now and then, whether it just be bringing up in a context like this. And last but not least, his favorite rarity. Get this, y'all. I don't think we've ever had this in the channel before. It's common. His favorite rarity is common. So usually when I do a garage review, a garage showcase, the owner and I are usually in agreement that we don't like the rarity and we skip through it a lot. So today's garage review is going to be starting from a different viewpoint where we're actually going to be focusing on his common collection pretty heavily as well. So with that being said, Brazen, welcome to the channel. How are you today, my friend?
Was poppin'.
Was good. Now, I understand that it is like 6 a.m. for you and you just woke up. I appreciate the dedication for this review. I'm just saying. How are you?
I'm good. Just chilling, you know?
All right, man. You sound good. You sound good. All right, so let's talk about it, man. You are a common collector. Not only are you a common collector, you are a Morgan collector. Please, I want to know the inner workings of that brain of yours. Why?
Well, for Morgan specifically, I like the idea of, especially now they're more modern cars the last couple of years, how they haven't really changed their styling since the 60s and 70s and 80s. They all kind of just look the same to me, which is like that old kind of look, and I like that.
I do. Okay, one thing I have said on the channel, I kind of attack Morgan more than I should because I think it's funny. But I do like the old Morgan designs. But ironically, I think in Top Drives, the old Morgan designs are on new Morgans. Like if you look at the 2021 ones and the 2022, they have that classic design. The ones that I just do not like the most are the Morgans where, you know, their lights just point at each other and they look super bloated and they look like they've been stung by a bee and their face is swollen. How do you feel about that design?
I don't know. I can't really just play down on one Morgan in particular, like one kind of styling. I think they all look fine, and especially like the photo quality in the game that we have right now with the colors and the contrasts. Yes. I think they just look good.
One thing I can agree is that the photo qualities have definitely improved. Now, we're going through your entire common collection, and I think one thing that it's very, very interesting is that most of your commons are actually performance tires. So do you want to talk about that?
Yes, there are currently 99 performance tire commons in the game, one 4-wheel drive and the other 98 are rear and front. There are 2 prize cars that have never been given out and 97 non-prize. You are currently looking at all 97 non-prize with some other standard tires and all service and off-road, so I took it upon myself one afternoon or 2 afternoons. Why not just collect all the performance tire commons? So now I have them all and they're all maxed.
Yeah, dude, that's the main thing that I wanted to say. What I love about this is that every single one here is max, and my OCD is just, it's bliss, man. It's bliss. Now these are 2 Morgans that I actually do own, the Morgan EV3 and the Plus 4. I think they are actually pretty decent commons, and that's the other thing. So why commons? Why is this one of your favorite rarities? Why do you enjoy it? And you love common clubs, which I think is fascinating because that's my most hated thing. I see commons in clubs and I don't want to play for the day. So why do you enjoy that rarity? I want to know.
Well, because where you don't make money from it, that's my opportunity too. I think commons are super, super cheap, super easy to upgrade. They're just fun to mess around with, and the meta is very, very tight always on commons. It's always the same couple of cars.
The
So,
meta is that is bizarre that you're saying that. See, the reason why I don't like commons is I think that the meta is like the least. I think it's the loosest out of everything. You know, when you think of ultra rares, I'm thinking, oh, okay, Peugeot Maxi Turbo, everything twisty. Holden a Fiji, everything fast. But for the commons, it's like there's a different winner for a quarter mile. There's a different winner for a 1 mile. There's a different winner for a test bowl. There's a different winner for a twisty circuit and a twisty road. Even like a twisty road standing and a twisty road rolling, they have different winners. So break it down for me. What is the common meta for you? What are the cars that you tend to use the most? Are you thinking Honda Beat? Are you thinking Volvo? What else do you have? What insights do you
typically,
have?
when it's like common times 5 specifically, I just find whatever the best hand my best rival is using, and I will copy that hand. But if I can try and make my hand a little bit better to keep kicking their butt, I will.
All right. I mean, that is, I guess, what you need to do if you want to excel with the commons is like you need to have every single one and basically just copy what the top hands are using and ask yourself, oh, what can you do better than that so you can beat him? Because it's like, the thing with me is like when it comes to commons, I don't have it memorized. Like I know the Volvo at 1800 ES, this one over here, this was kind of really the only car I was looking for when I was looking through your comments. Was like, oh, okay, like yeah, that's really good. It's good for like half of the standard tires and stuff or half of the wet stuff, and then the other half is like the MGB or something. It's really, there's so many options in my opinion. It gives me a lot of headache, and that's why I don't do it. So I would say that this, I think that you're just pretty smart. I think you're just pretty intelligent. that you know you can cope with the commons and you run with the different metas.
You say that, but also you want to know the tune on that Volvo and why I'm not even sure if it's correct or not?
The thing is, I don't know commons that well, so I don't know the tune on the Volvo. The only thing I can tell that is a little bit off is that your Renault Fuego Turbo looks like it's 969, and I think that 996 is the better version because it gets 6.90 to 60.
I've never understood why people like to drag spec it apart from that. I don't know.
The main reason why people drag spec the Fuego Turbo is because if it's like commons in clubs and it's like front wheel drive specifically, like not common front wheel drive because that's not a requirement, but if it's like front wheel drive and the RQ max that you can play with is like 95, so basically pseudo common requirements, then the Fuego Turbo I believe is the best dragster option. When you have rear wheel drive, then I think you are using the new car, whatever it's called, the Plymouth. But yeah, so maybe that's some food for thought for you to get a second Fuego Turbo and drag spec it if you want to be prepared for that front wheel drive clubs. But what is that tune on that Volvo? I'm interested to know now.
That is drag spec, which I believe is incorrect now that I'm really thinking about it. I think it's meant to be definitely a 323 kind of car because it's low and rear wheel drive and standard, and it handles still pretty decent, has a decent 0 to 60. I don't think it's a drag car.
Yeah, no, it definitely isn't. I know I have one, and I know I've upgraded it just to my memory the right way, which is 969. So definitely what you could do is get a drag spec version of the Fuego and get, just a on-road, like twisty, I guess, spec of the Volvo and just switch it around. But keep both those cars because you never know when you're going to need to use them. So that's a pretty interesting one. Do you know your Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser tune? Because I believe that is 996, I think.
It is.
Okay, so that's another one that you can consider going 969. Again, bit rusty with the common knowledge, but I do believe that 969 is better than 996 on the city street small, and if that is the case, the 969 is the best option for the wet city street small for the entire common meta. For the commons, now uncommons, the first thing that I want to say is, do you have something against Japanese cars, sir? Because that Suzuki Alto, I believe, is your only Japanese car between RQ20 and 23. Like just one. Like, do you not like collecting them?
In this video, as of recently, I took back to some of the notes, and I've collected a few more, so now I have the RQ20 Liana, the Carol, and the 21 Civic 1500. Okay. So I've collected a few of the standard tired ones to complement that one Japanese Alto. So
Yeah, that's a good idea. And I think moving on from standard tires, that is definitely something that we'll look at in the garage, which I think is a little bit on the weaker side. But when it comes to uncommons, as I've shared with you already, I think the only thing that's really missing over here is just that all surface tire stuff. Like the off-road all surface tire stuff. So you have like the Fiat, which is like the 7-ton beast. I think it's like one of the heaviest cars in the game, if not the heaviest. And then the other one that you have basically goes all the way up to RQ29 on the other end of the spectrum. You have the Holden Suburban. So I just feel like, to have a little bit more versatility, especially if you love playing clubs, and since road less taken or an off-road track set is almost every day, to go for something like a Nissan Patrol RQ26. It's still the best handling all-surface tire SUV for the uncommon rank, and also the Land Rover Discovery 2, which is a pretty decent all-rounder, and it sounds like you do enjoy your all-rounders. Some other cars that I think are missing over here, dragsters like the RQ29 Maserati Mistral, the best uncommon for the testable in the entire game. But for the most part, your entire common collection is quite strong. I would say it's pretty versatile, but what makes it super really effective, I guess, in my opinion, is that every single car that you have is max. That's one of my favorite things about your garage, is that it's so incredibly organized. Like, what do you feel about uncommons? Do you care about them much?
No, I just think uncommons are a pain to max because typically when I'm maxing uncommons, there's always either there's always a rare and a normal common that I'm trying to max at the same time. So it's like, well, I need this common fused material for my common and the uncommon fused material for my rare. So it leaves me with nothing for the in-between.
That is that's a really good observation. For me, it's the opposite. I never upgrade my commons because I'm using my commons to upgrade my uncommons. You know what I mean? So it's one or the other, and I think it's a small little design flaw. Like, commons are strangely harder to upgrade than most rarities because you need to put the same, rare. Like the rarity common is shared between two different rarities. You use them for uncommons, but you also use them for themselves. They're almost cannibalistic in that sense, which makes commons harder to upgrade. So I do applaud you for really going hard on the commons, but that is kind of like the caveat, right? Like you don't have a strong uncommon collection because you're focusing on that one rarity, which is commons, which obviously the fused material is shared between both of them. Honestly, I like how you're dealing with the situation. Instead of trying to put your eggs in two baskets, you're kind of just putting all your eggs in one basket, which is the common basket. I do like that though, because that's how I play the game too. I remember when I started playing, I would put all my resources, and I still kind of do that right now, into ultra rares, and that's why super rares are always significantly weaker in my garage. But yeah, that's something that's good to note. So I would say that I've already sent you a list of uncommons that you might want to collect. You could focus on those. I think those are just very useful in terms of bolstering your collection. So moving on to rares now. Do you like rares at all, or it's kind of insignificant? It looks like you have the Morgans already, the +8, the E, the 3. Is that your goals completed? Are there anything else you're looking for?
Oh, there's definitely stuff I'm looking for. If I would just filter by my wish list, there is actually one Peugeot rare that I have yet to get from a prize board or anything. It's the RQ30 206cc Roadster, or convertible, excuse me.
Alright.
It's been in the game since, what update? Yeah, French Renaissance, so it's always been out since I've played. And I've just not managed to get it somehow. I've been very unlucky.
As much as I don't like, Morgans and Peugeots and stuff, I really do, admire how you play the game. It's very similar to how I did it. Instead of trying to get everything, you're focusing on getting the cars that you want the most first. And I think that kind of bleeds into why you've been playing for as long as you have. 3.5 years is no short time. And I think that the main thing that keeps us playing is that we play for cars that we like over cars that we need. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, cars that you need are obviously very important, but you need to not forget that what your real passions are. And we'll get to the passion projects later on in the video. I've already said it in the notes, but obviously there are niches that you can bleed into from your Morgan and Peugeot collections. So when it comes to rares, I'm not going to talk about it too much. It doesn't seem like that is a main priority for you right now. But one thing that I would say that genuinely is on the weaker side are standard tires, specifically 4-wheel drive standard tires. You got the rear-wheel drive cars, which is great. You have the MX-5, the 7 twin cam. That's all fantastic. You even have the Electric Shadow Edition, which is a really strong center tire car. But there are cars that you are missing. Examples being the Suzuki X90 and the Nissan Wing Road. Both of these are really strong four-wheel drive center tire cars that are capable of beating cars like the MX-5 in very niche situations. But you never know when you're ever going to need those. So obviously, I've sent them all already in the notes. But that's one thing that I would say you could look forward to into upgrading if you want to. If you ever do a pack opening and you notice that you got a four-wheel drive center tire rare, that could be something that you might want to just keep on the side. You never know when you're ever going to need it, especially if it's like Italian or French. But then again, there aren't any French four-wheel drive center tire cars that are rare in the game. So I think that's also another reason why you're overlooked it, because most of them are just Japanese, and definitely that isn't in your wheelhouse. So the thing about this is that when I started playing, I collect American and German cars all the time. And although I ignored other countries to a very high degree, I still made an effort to collect the best cars from those countries. Example, in your case, Honda Beat. And you have the Honda Beat. So just some things to look out for, like the Wing Road, the Suzuki. Fantastic cars. Anyway, moving on to super rares. Do you have a favorite super rare? What do you think about the rarity? What do you like? What do you enjoy?
Favorite super rare. I'm gonna have to just scroll through very quickly, see what I can find. The Morgan three-wheeler P101. That's the three-wheeler prize car that came out. That's a cool one.
I think we're gonna be seeing
I think the photo's really nice, and you got a proper gentleman in that car.
He reminds me of a YouTuber. I'm not sure if you watch Binging with Babish.
No.
Okay, so Binging with Babish is a YouTuber. If you ever check him out, he looks exactly like him. Like the beard, the bowl, the sunglasses, everything. He makes cooking videos. I love cooking videos. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about. What I've realized in your garage is that you don't tend to collect duplicates, right?
No, not very often. I don't fancy duplicates.
Yes, and this is the thing. This is the one thing that I took note of. You have duplicates of the Charger. So what is the reason for this, my man?
Well, as much as I don't like to say it, because I'm not a fan of American cars, I don't want to downplay just Dodge in general, but as an American, even I don't like my American cars. It's just a good car.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. The man knows. The man knows. He understands the assignment. But anyway, I think what car interests you more than the Charger is that Morgan Roadster 3.0. Now, do you know what the upgrade is? Is that 969 or 996?
Yes, sir. 969.
969. I mean, it's got a relatively decent 0 to 60 of 4.5, but do you get any use out of it? 83 handling for an RQ42. Like, I just can't see it being completely useful, especially when you put it next to like a Z4 with 91 handling.
I was actually using it in the GT series, the one to get the Alpha. I was using that one a little bit, so it's 23 uses and exactly a month's time, 100% win rate, but probably only because of the GT series being as easy as it was in the beginning.
That is true. It does feel like a slightly easier GT series than usual, but once again, I commend you for the double charges, dude. That is absolutely beautiful. That's like one of the few like duplicates in your entire garage. I see that you've also beaten me to maxing the Saturn Sky Redline. So was there a reason for this? Because I know you're not an American collector. So what? Because this is a pretty new car, so you max it out fast.
Oh, I mean, for my garage, it's definitely at a point right now where super rare and below, it's just gotta be maxed. I'm not waiting around. And ultra rare, I could pretty much throw that into the same category, but I don't get super rare fused material as fast as everything else. So
yeah, see, that's the other thing, like compared to the Morgan, the 0 to 60 is very similar, same RQ, but a 5 handling difference. I just don't understand. Like honestly speaking, do you think that the Morgan Roadster 3.7 should be 45, or should it be lower? Or do you think the Saturn Sky Redline should be higher in RQ? Because that just doesn't seem right, having those two cars in the same RQ.
what's the weight difference? 1264 versus 885. So, I mean, the Saturn Sky Redline's probably just going to win everywhere, no matter what. Maybe
I would even say even on the slalom, even though the Roadster is lighter, just 5 handling is massive.
Yeah. I think, Morgan might need to go down, or the Saturn might need to go up.
Maybe
whichever one would fit better.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on now. We got some Lotuses. We got some Genettas. A lot of yellow. We have some.
That G4 Series 2 Coupe, the Janetta 45 with standard tires. That one I used in what was one of the first lock-to-lock finals when that was basically it was like a little bit of rain and some dry, so it was like whatever slick tire cars you could fit in. But this was the best for the wet. So I was very happy to have that at the time.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Mazda MX-5 Rare for the Koenigsegg Yamera. I do remember because I used the Jetta G4 myself. I forgot what the prize car was though. Do you remember? Did you win it?
I do not.
Yeah, I don't even remember what it was anymore. Every time when I think back to earlier this year, 2023, all I think of is the Pagani Imola. One thing I've realized when I make videos on the channel is that whenever I try and reminisce on, what a requirement used to be, I always say, oh yeah, it was probably for the Pagani Imola. Oh yeah, it was probably for the Pagani Imola. I don't even know what the requirements were for the Pagani Imola. I just knew it was sometime this year at the start. I don't know. So we move on to ultra rares. I am an ultra rare aficionado. I love ultra rares so much. What is your favorite niche when it comes to ultra rares, or what do you think your strongest niche is?
I'm trying to make my strongest niche right now, believe it or not, front wheel drive. So you're gonna see a lot of nice front wheel drive cars in here that I think are either good or decent.
Yeah, front wheel drive is a good one, especially if you play a lot of clubs. And I see that you also are a connoisseur of the 3-of-a-kind Honda Civic.
Yes, I took your advice on it, and it has not let me down. So we have a 332, 323, and 233, and they are all equally as good.
They really are. It's just such a versatile car. One of the most versatile ultras in the game, in my opinion. I think that's mainly because there are not a lot of front-wheel drive cars that can perform as well as it does at its RQ. Did you get this collection before Racing Royalty? Did you get it before seeing on YouTube? Because that might have helped you so much.
So my first Honda Civic I got was the drag spec one 358 days ago, so it's coming up on a year. So I had that one way before seeing on YouTube. Mm-hmm. The second tune was my 233. That one I got 51 days ago, so I think that was just before as seen on YouTube started. And then my third Civic I definitely pulled during as seen on YouTube because that one's only 40 days old.
Nice. I mean, that's a beautiful collection. Front wheel drive is actually a very smart niche, and you got two of the Megans coming up because a lot of French cars are front wheel drive. And I know that you want to collect those French cars from time to time as well, so I think it works really well. The only issue is that they tend to conflict with the other niche that you have, which are Morgans, which are rear wheel drive performance tire cars. But again, at least they're all performance tires. Definitely could find a way to link both of them together. Maybe what I would do is from the Morgans, I move on to rear-wheel drive French ultra rares, things like the Desire, I think is rear-wheel drive, and then from that you can move on to other French cars, and then you can bleed on to the front-wheel drive French cars like the Renault Megane 4 Trophy and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think you can make a connection. Another really good front-wheel drive car is that Mini John Cooper Works. I personally would go 3-of-a-kind on that, like the Honda Civic as well.
It's an insane car. It's got tier. I've only owned it for a month and 146 races, 76% win ratio. It's because I was using this thing in an event last week, and it was big time losing, but just by 50 points for me.
Right, and it's just
against like maxed out epics on a twisty road.
Yeah, it's so incredibly strong. It's fantastic. Definitely, if you want to get 3-of-a-kind, like John Cooper Works, it's just an upgraded version of that Civic Type R, really. Looking at the tunes of everything else that you have, I mean, based off my memory, it all looks really good. The Rover is drag spec, the Tuscan is drag spec. It's really what I'm looking for are the drag spec cars, supposed to be drag spec. Now, here's one car that I've literally not touched. It's literally in my fuse pile right now. That's the Morgan Plus 850th anniversary. Is that 332? Or 233?
Yes, it is 332.
Okay, drag spec 3.5 for a 0 to 60. Do you know the MRI on that? Because I don't.
It's either 82 or 85. It's the highest among all the Morgan Ultra Rares. That's why I drag spec, because I already have the.
Wait, 82 is not the highest MRI of all the Morgan Ultra Rares.
What's the highest?
The highest is the green one, the green 63, which I believe you don't have. That is 89.
So it's not the highest then.
No,
Okay.
but I believe that the plus 8 just has a lower 0 to 60 compared to that. And I believe there is another Morgan. There are two Morgans that reach 89 MRA. One is the green one. I'm not sure if the other one is the red plus 8 that you have. I don't think it is. I think it's another 64.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so it's definitely another 64. But
Let me check.
yeah, feel free to do so if you like. And another question since we're at it is so your R33, that's 233, right?
Yes, and that is a very, very old car. Let me grab the stats of that real quick.
Yeah,
That is a
233
very, very old car.
works really well on the R33, but I believe that 323 is also just
It's a
as
much
useful.
better tune. It is so much better of a tune.
Yeah, it's really down to if you want to use it in the dry and the wet. So R33, that's another one that you can definitely look at. And one car that I would definitely upgrade immediately is that XKR75. It is wonderful.
About that.
Yeah.
We sometimes have to make sacrifices for things that we want in life, so I no longer have that car, and it was an attempt to get the Alfa Romeo Formula 1 car, of which I'm stuck on the final round because I can't upgrade my epics.
What was
I
your
now have
ultra? What was your ultra fuse looking like? Because I know that you were filtering this garage by locked cars only. Like, did you not get rid? Did you get rid of everything else already?
Yeah, so the stock ones were locked. I've got out all of my fuse. I didn't actually have any ultra rare fuse at the time. So I just took from my, what I wanted. I was like, these are nice, but I can also always get these in the future. This Alfa Romeo for right now is just a one-time thing, so I gotta try and win this.
Oh,
And I was unsuccessful.
that is pain. I mean, hey, don't say that you're unsuccessful. The challenge is not over yet, right? It's still going on right now.
Yeah, so if I can somehow bolster up enough fuse material, I think I need about 9 ultra rares, I can get it.
Oh, that is so painful to hear though, because the XKR75 genuinely is like a fantastic car. I would say, do you still have the XKRS convertible, or did you fuse that away too?
No, I've used that one too.
All right, so that one might be, I don't know if that's a good call or a bad call. There are a lot of, convertible events going on right now, but I'm pretty sure that's only for the battle pass, which is like, you don't need it for the battle pass because you're racing commons all the time anyway. But that is a shame, but I hope you get that 75 again. It is really good. One of the few ultras I've been looking out for a very long time. Now, moving on to epics. Now, any stories you want to tell of the epics? Anything that you're working on? You said it was a mess. I want to know why you think it is a mess.
There's just so many 1-star epics around the whole garage, and take the Colorado ZR2 for instance. It's 1-star, and that's because it came from a time where I didn't understand how the token system worked when it first came out, so I just threw tokens into the wind. I didn't know how they worked. So there's a couple of 1-star epics in here that I wish weren't. But yeah, I could give
tokens. So you use the tokens to make them 1-star, or you wish you used the tokens to max it out?
No, I use the tokens to make them 1-star just because I had them.
Oh, I mean, honestly, as far as things go, 1-starring the token, the Colorado with free tokens actually isn't a bad call. It's a pretty good car, and I think it might be very useful in the near future because that is one of the few cars that has the new racing royalty tag, I believe, right? Not racing royalty, the next one, whatever it is.
Trap.
Whatever that thing is. I know it's one of the few cars, and it's probably going to be the best off-road tire option because it still handles really, really well. So definitely keep that car in your garage. There might be a situation where you might need to, 339 it and max out the handling. Just maybe.
Yeah.
Emerge E, is that an epic that you're working on currently? It's a car that does win the last race of the pro car or whatever it's called. The Alpha.
Yeah, and I don't even have to throw any more fuses onto it. Where it's at right now, it's at a 221. It's not going to show that in the video, I don't think, but it wins that very first drag of that final round. So if I can keep that like that, and then I can sink some upgrades into my Morgan Plus 8 GTR and my Lotus Exige GT3, which are both at 1-star now, does it show it on the video? Then we'll get it.
All right. Let's get it, man. I'm rooting for you, okay? So you gotta get that, especially since you've already been, investing with the ultras. Don't let that Jaguar die for nothing. But that being said, though, like I said in the notes that I sent you, I think the two best epics that you have that you can upgrade. I'm giving you two options. I think the Morgan Plus 8 is like your passion project. Not only is it a passion project, and then you like the brand, but it's a very useful car. In my opinion, the most useful Morgan in the entire game, because it's so much cheaper to upgrade compared to the Legendary. Or the other one would be the 5-out GTS. It's because the thing is literally the best dragster epic. Beats like freaking, well, actually not anymore though, because of Charger now. But it's still very, very, very strong, and it's capable of beating the legendaries as well. So that's another one that I would think about. Lotus GT3. I mean, your high-end epic collection is pretty nice. You got a couple of 79s in there, some heavy hitting 78s. But we end up with the cream of the crop over here. It looks like, you got a pretty decent Japanese and German collection, although you don't collect those countries. But I'm very happy to see that you got the Peugeot Onyx, the EX1, the Oxia. This is the brand that you love, and obviously you saw me unpack the Quasar earlier on today. How did you get the Oxia, Onyx, and EX1? Do you just open Peugeot carbons all the time?
No, so actually these all came from ceramic packs, I believe. If I look at the days and how old each of them are, I could probably tell you the story. Okay, so the Oxia was the one I got first. Yeah, the Oxia is the one I got first. That one I got from a ceramic pack. That was the day after I got my second COVID shot, and I was feeling really, really ill.
We love the backstories.
Yeah, I was just so tired, very, very drowsy. I opened up a ceramic after playing clubs very, very lightly that day. There's where the Oxia came in. So that's 738 days old. A couple weeks later, from another basic ceramic, out comes the Onyx. And then from a family vacation, basically last year's, where the EX1 came out of another ceramic.
I'm actually so happy for you that this is a brand that you love, and you've managed to get like 3 of them just from ceramic packs as well. That is so wholesome.
This is kind of what built the foundation to make me build this garage. I was like, okay, I got the Oxy, that's pretty cool. Wow, now I have the Onyx. Now I have the EX1.
And
I'm just gonna start.
And it was because of your presence I pulled the Quasar.
Must have been.
That's actually surreal. I do hope that you get one soon. Ironically, I don't have the Oxia and the Onyx and the EX1, but I have 2 of the Quasars, so it's funny how it works that way. Obviously, you have your obligatory legendary Lamborghini. Everybody has that, and the Audi R8 LMS. So before we end off, I just want to ask, what is your favorite car in your entire garage?
Can I give you top 3?
Yeah, you can give it top 3. Is it the 3 Peugeots?
No, it's actually a little bit different. So if my third slot, if we go all the way back to Epic, it's that RQ68 Siege Cup 260, that Lotus. That was
the orange boy.
From one of the first carbons I opened was, I think, just a great exhibition carbon, and I got this and a couple other ultra rares I think I fused away or got rid of or something. So this was kind of like my first kind of big nice epic, and this was before it had its 3.7 or 0 to 60 nerf. So it used to be 3.499 and 60 something, or that was like maybe when it was 70. Now it's had some stat changes and it's just not as good, but it's still very lightweight, handles very well. It's almost 1,000 days old in my garage, 4,350 races, 80% win ratio.
Hell yeah, man. That sounds like 3 years. And then in the top 2, who are you picking?
Definitely second seed is going to have to go to my my Onyx.
Okay, cool. And first seed?
It's going to be my 5,000 plus race Lancia 037. This is my child.
Epic. Where is it? Should be coming
It is. When it was an ultra rare, 1,000 days old, almost 5,200 races, 85% win ratio. I use this thing on road, off road, wherever.
So you had that as an ultra rare, right?
Yeah.
So did you max it out again as an epic, or did you use tokens, like all of it?
I used tokens. I had enough tokens for one epic, and I chose my 037.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, great decision. I use one of my few tokens on Max Cattle Rally as well. It is just a absolutely fantastic car. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today. My man, do you have anything else that you want to say? Anything else that maybe I missed out on that you want to tell the audience?
No, I think we're good.
Alright, well, obviously, guys, there are more review notes that I did send to him on DMs privately, so you have those already, and like I said, for redundancy's sake, I don't want to repeat it again, but if you have any questions, you can always let me know in DMs. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. That is indeed Brazen's Garage, 3.5 years, a Peugeot collector on the high end, and it looks like a Morgan collector on the lower end as well. A very interesting garage, the polar opposite of mine, but it has similarities in many ways with how it's organized it is and how maxed everything is. It really is wonderful. But I gotta say, what you've done over the few years, like, you've done a really good job, man.
I appreciate that.
But anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies. They so fine. Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly. Got a jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies. They so fine. Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville Atlantic. Blonde hair, don't care.